Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is Hall Squires. This is my introduction video for PER 670, Facilities and Event Management. Starting with my childhood, I was born in Pensacola, Florida, spent the first 4 years of my life there. Um, Obviously, a very beautiful area. You can see this picture in the top left corner of the shoreline. A beautiful place to grow up, right there on the water. My dad was a swim coach, so very early on, the water and swimming would become a really big part of my life. Um, After 4 years in Pensacola, I would move to California. Also, a lot of natural beauty, and one of the things that I appreciated most about being able to spend years there in my childhood, um, I was able to spend time, in pretty famous, beautiful natural areas. Thinking Sequoia Forest, Yosemite National Park. I was able to spend a lot of time outdoors, in some pretty tremendous, breathtaking areas. But also, I feel really fortunate for the school that I was able to attend in California. The elementary school I went to had really advanced extracurriculars, at least compared to my other experiences. And so I got to witness firsthand some really awesome fine arts teachers, music, art, and I'm really appreciative of that experience. Lastly, I spent middle school and high school growing up in Memphis, Tennessee, just outside Memphis, Tennessee, East Memphis. Um, and you can see this is a picture I had taken in high school with the Memphis Bridge cut off a little bit. But yeah, grew up for the longest time in Memphis, and sports and academics would become really influential to my development there. I was really fortunate. Um, to be able to participate in a pretty wide array of sports, and even be able to take a wide array of academic classes. My high school had a pretty long list of AP classes that I was able to be a part of, and those really helped foster a belief and just a desire to stay committed to um, academics and sports too. Moreover, I was not only fortunate enough to participate, but also have some leadership opportunities within sports in Memphis. I was able to be a captain of three different sports, three different varsity sports in my high school: swimming, water polo, and golf. And those were really huge for my development too, and just made me realize how much I enjoyed being in those leadership positions and being able to try and help others towards an overall pursuit, towards an overall shared goal, and really, really thankful for my time there. After that, I would go to college. I spent 1 year at a D3 school, Division III college called Swanee. I would swim there. I signed to swim. Um, Unfortunately, it didn't really work out there. It was a bit of a culture shock, about 1,000 kids smaller than my high school, and kind of struggled to build a really positive relationship with my coach at the time. So unfortunately, things didn't really work out. Thankfully, not too bitterly. But I would find myself finishing my degree at the University of Colorado, and I'm really appreciative of my time there. Um, I would study political science and journalism, um, majored in political science, minored in journalism. Really, really enjoyed all my classes there, particularly the journalism department, and that's kind of what I highlighted here. You can see I took this picture as a part of a photography class for a final project. This is a very historic, famous Boulder Theater in our downtown Pearl Street. And then was even given an opportunity to interview. This is Neat Clifford at the bottom. Neat Clifford was a basketball player for Colorado. He ended up transferring to Colorado State shortly after I graduated, but became a really exceptional college basketball player and was just drafted actually in the first round of this past NBA draft to the Sacramento Kings. After college, I'd find myself in New Orleans, which was probably the most exceptional experience I've ever had teaching here in New Orleans. I taught middle school, seventh and eighth grade social studies. Can't speak highly enough about my experience, honestly. Um, the kids that I taught, were incredible, super talented, super hilarious. Just a really, really excellent experience. But outside of that, I stayed active. You can see this is a 5K run that I did on the Huey P. Long Bridge, a pretty notable feature of, I guess that would be West New Orleans, over towards Kenner, but a really fun city with activities like this 5K run and all sorts of other activities going on all the time. This is an open water swim outside of New Orleans that I competed in. But like athletics maintained a really, really important role in my life. And I knew as my time teaching was coming to an end, I wanted to kind of incorporate athletics and get back to school and kind of combine these three areas of my life with, still having a high priority of teaching, still having a really um, sports still playing a really important role in my life, but also wanting to go back to school and get a little bit more educated. And so that's really what brought me here to Delta State. I currently serve as a graduate assistant for the swim and dive team, and studying the human performance concentration. I really hope that my academics continue to inform um, both of my passions here. I hope that I can get a lot of information that could potentially help me in an academic setting, um, whether that be coaching and teaching or just teaching. But I do want to continue to develop coaching skills. And I've more recently, towards the last semester, started gaining additional interest in research. Sports sociology is an area that really, really interests me. Sport inequality, and the research associated with that is something that I found really, really fascinating. And, I want to continue to look into doctoral programs that might allow me to continue that research moving forward. Anyways, this was my introduction. Really appreciate anybody watching this video. Thank you.